What's up, everyone? We are back with picks on every single NBA game for Thursday, February 22nd. The All-Star break is finally over, and we can get back to business as we go into the last part of the NBA season. This video is brought to you by StumpTheSpread.com, where you can get all of our best picks and predictions on every major sport. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily NBA and NCAA basketball videos. Welcome to all the new subscribers and new viewers. Don't forget to comment below with any questions or bets on today's slate. I read and respond to every single comment. Now let's dive into our first game of the day, Brooklyn heading to Toronto. The Nets went into the All-Star break kind of in a weird spot. They ended up firing their head coach and promoting their assistant coach to head coach, so now we've got Kevin Ollie in there. Do I think that's going to make a huge difference for this team this season? Obviously, I do not. I don't think this is a squad that's about to turn things around and charge up the standings in the East. Brooklyn's currently in 11th place. They're only a game and a half back of the Hawks to sneak into the play-in tournament, so I guess that's possible. But in general, things have not been looking so great in Brooklyn. They lost 5 of their last 6 heading into the All-Star break. Generally speaking, they are just not looking too good. The Toronto Raptors are in kind of a similar situation with things not looking so great. They just lost heading into the All-Star break to the Indiana Pacers, but before that, and much more concerningly, they lost to the San Antonio Spurs. The Raptors are just not having a good season. They were sellers at the trade deadline. Did they acquire some young talent? Yes, they did, but right now things are not exactly looking amazing for them. Don't have a huge lean on this game. Brooklyn at Toronto, we're seeing Brooklyn +2. I think we're going to go with Toronto at home in this one, as Brooklyn maybe just isn't going to have wanted the trade deadline to end. There's the whole, they have a new coach, so maybe they'll play better coming into this game, but I think Toronto plays hard, and they've got a lot of young talent, and they're at home. So give me Toronto -2. No real lean on this one, though. Next up, we've got Detroit at Indiana. Detroit went into the All-Star break actually playing kind of okay. They did just get blown out by 16 against the Suns, but they've had a stretch where they've kind of kept games close against some better opponents. Obviously, Detroit is nothing to write home about this season. They're tanking it out. They've looked a lot better, though, since making some trades and releasing some players, so they're slightly improved. The Indiana Pacers, however, they are playing great. They just won a very close game against the Toronto Raptors before heading into the All-Star break. We saw the All-Star game and all the All-Star festivities be in Indiana, so I guess maybe that's a little bit of a boost for them, but I would think it'd be more of a drag. You have to work through your entire vacation. We saw Halliburton playing big, being very involved in all the All-Star game festivities. I actually think we're going to go with Detroit and the points in this one. Indiana's going to be tired. Sure, they're playing at home, but they've been at home for this whole weird All-Star game weekend. It's got to really throw them out of their rhythm, out of their routine. Give me Detroit and the points as they're playing better in this one. The New York Knicks head to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers in our next game. New York was actually struggling pretty hard going into the All-Star break. They dropped 4 in a row. Some time off should have given this team a chance to get healthy, but unfortunately we see Anunoby still going to be out for quite some time with his weird elbow issue. We see Hartenstein. He should at least be back, so that's something of a positive, but just in general, the Knicks are banged up. Not having Julius Randle available sucks. Dante DiVincenzo is listed as day-to-day, but I do expect him to play. He should be back, but he's dealing with a hamstring issue, so that could crop back up anytime, and we're getting into the end of the season where you see Tibbs' players start to have some problems. Playing 40 minutes a night is hard. Who would have thought? The 76ers come to this game in kind of a similar boat. They are very banged up. Obviously, Embiid's not going to be back now or anytime soon. We do expect Batum to be available for this game. DeAnthony Melton could be back. We don't really know, and he doesn't really move the needle. Tobias Harris should be back. He was dealing with kind of a nagging hip injury, but I think some rest over the All-Star break will have got him back on the court. Right now, it's sitting at New York +1. I think we're actually going to go ahead and side with Philadelphia playing at home. We don't have a real lean in this one, guys. We don't know how either one of these teams is going to react to the All-Star break. We're not even 100% sure who's going to be available, so this is just kind of a lean. I do think that we see the 76ers come out and play well. The Knicks had Brunson involved in all the All-Star game festivities, so he might be a little bit tired. I think we're going to go with Philadelphia at home, where they're 12-6-0 on the season, but this is only a small lean. Obviously, we're dealing with a situation where we're dealing with two teams where we don't really know what to expect. In basically a pick'em game, give me the home team. Next up, we've got the Orlando Magic heading to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. Orlando comes into this game fresh off a solid win heading into the All-Star break over the Knicks. This team is healthy. They've been playing relatively well heading into the All-Star break, but things have looked better earlier in the season for Orlando. The Magic are 18-11 against the spread when playing on the road this season. That's a very good number. That's something we're definitely going to keep an eye on. The Cavaliers are one of the hottest teams in the NBA coming into the All-Star break. They were looking great. They've been just knocking off win after win. They've been climbing the standings in the Eastern Conference right now. They're 6 games still back of the Celtics, so I don't think we'll see them catching Boston, but they're 2.5 games up on the Bucks, and Milwaukee has not been showing us anything lately under Doc Rivers, so I think we can feel pretty good about Cleveland holding on to that number 2 seed. Right now, this spread is looking like Orlando plus 7.5. Man, it's tough to go against the Cavaliers, and Orlando has burned us in the past, but with their solid numbers against the spread and the fact that they're healthy coming into this game, I think we're going to take Miami and the points. That's a lot of points. Hopefully they can at least keep this game close, playing on the road against a solid opponent. Next up, in one of the marquee games of the day, we see the Phoenix Suns heading to Dallas to take on the Mavericks. The Suns came into the All-Star break fresh off back-to-back wins, but when your wins are over the struggling Sacramento Kings and the Detroit Pistons, we're not really going to freak out about that. This team should be healthy coming into this game. You would think Bradley Beal's back, should be good to go, so they should be at full strength. The Mavs come into this game also getting closer to full strength. Dallas was red hot heading to the All-Star break, winning 6 in a row, including kind of statement wins over the Knicks and the Thunder. The Knicks were not at full strength, but that win over the Thunder was very solid. Dallas is finally getting healthy. It's taken them so long, but now Derek Lively's back, Kyrie's back, Luka's playing great. This team is going to be scary here at the end of the season. Right now, the Mavs are sitting in 7th place in the West. They're going to want to move up into that top 6 so they avoid the play-in tournament, and there's some teams that they could catch in there. They've got the Pelicans and the Suns right there. I think we see Dallas come out to prove a point in this game. I think we get a big one from Luka. He's always down to mess up Devin Booker whenever he gets a chance. Dallas has not been that great against the spread playing at home. Right now they're -3. Give me Dallas at home in this one. Now they're fully healthy. They're going to really start showing some teams what's up. Moving right along, we've got the Boston Celtics headed to Chicago in this one. Boston was heavily involved and their players were heavily involved in the All-Star game festivities. Boston was playing pretty well coming to the All-Star break, winning 6 in a row, but they were playing against some pretty weak opponents. The Celtics are pretty much cruising right now. They're clearly the best team in the East, at least in the standings. The Bulls, on the other hand, come into this game. They were a little bit up and down. They did lose a very close and competitive game against the red hot Cavaliers coming into the All-Star break. The Bulls, they've been a weird team to figure out this season. They haven't been able to make any big trades to upgrade this roster. Obviously, Levine's out for the rest of the season. Right now, it looks like Patrick Williams may or may not be playing here in this game. We really haven't gotten a lot of updates on him, which is kind of weird. The Bulls, other than that, are healthy coming into this game, so that's something. Right now, the spread is looking like Chicago plus 7.5 playing at home. The Bulls are 14-12-1 against the spread playing at home. Boston is 10-13-3 against the spread playing on the road. I don't have a huge lean on this, guys. I think there will be a little bit of a All-Star week hangover for the Celtics, so give me Chicago and the points in this one. No real lean. We will not be betting this game. Next up, we've got the Houston Rockets at the New Orleans Pelicans. Houston comes into this game fresh off a loss to the Grizzlies and then the All-Star break, so they did not go into the break on a good note. New Orleans, on the other hand, they've been playing pretty well. They've won 3 in a row and 7 of their last 8 overall, and they're great against the spread playing at home. They're 15-11-0 against the spread at home, and we see the Houston Rockets are only 9-16-1 against the spread playing on the road. Am I a little bit worried about New Orleans? Yeah, I'm worried about New Orleans every single time I bet them. You never really know if you're going to get Zion out there or if you're going to get real Zion, but right now he's marked as fully healthy. So this is probably going to be one of my bigger bets of the day, guys. We're going to take New Orleans -7. Playing at home where they're very good against a Rockets team that struggles on the road. Next up, we've got the lowly Charlotte Hornets headed to Utah to take on the Jazz. The Hornets actually went into the All-Star break playing great. They won 3 in a row. It's got to be their best stretch of the season. I'm not going to look back at this whole season full of losses, but I would assume that that's the best stretch that the Hornets have had all year long. Charlotte is a league worst 8-17 against the spread playing on the road. Are we going to see LaMelo Ball play in this game? You would think we would see him here playing after the All-Star break. You at least want to get the guy out there to get some reps. I understand that this team is tanking, but like, my God, you don't want that kid out there playing at least a little bit? You just want him sitting there clowning on the bench? Like, that doesn't seem right to me. The Utah Jazz have been struggling coming into the All-Star break. They lost 4 straight, including 2 losses to the Warriors. It's starting to look more and more like Utah is not going to be able to claw their way into a playoff or play-in seed. Utah is a startlingly good 18-9 against the spread when they're playing at home this season, and right now this game currently has Charlotte plus 9.5. Honestly, if LaMelo Ball is playing, I kind of want to go with Charlotte here. Utah has not been looking great. I don't know if they really find a way to blow out Charlotte in this game. They played a few weeks before the All-Star break with the Jazz getting a 134-122 win. I kind of lean towards Charlotte in the points, but I have no real read on this game, guys. Coming off the All-Star break, we don't really know how either one of these teams are going to look. We don't know who Charlotte's even going to be playing in this game as they tank out the end of the season, so Yeah, they're red hot heading into the All-Star break, so small lean on Charlotte in the points, but will not be betting this game myself. Next up, we've got the Washington Wizards heading to Denver to take on the Mavs. Washington comes into this game losing a lot. They've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row coming up to the All-Star break, but they've been weirdly good against the spread playing on the road. Washington is 18-9-1 against the spread on the road this season. Those are some very solid numbers. They're healthy coming into this game, so that's a big deal. And just in general, they seem to be playing with a little bit more focus and effort. Denver comes into this game. Obviously, they were a team that was highly involved in the All-Star Weekend festivities, but they had dropped 3 straight heading into the break. Denver is obviously one of the best teams in the league. They're healthy coming into this game. I would assume they're going to be a little bit more locked in here, playing on the second half of the season. Washington is plus 15.5 in this game. Kind of makes me sick, guys, but we are going to be on the Wizards and the points in this one. They've been so good against the spread playing on the road. I don't think Denver is interested in blowing out opponents that much. They just want to get the win, salt it away, put their bench in, and let the game end, let things play out. We could see a backdoor cover in this one possibly, but either way, we're taking Washington and all those points where they've been so good against the spread playing on the road. Next up, we've got the San Antonio Spurs heading to Sacramento. The Spurs come into this game fresh off a blowout loss to the Mavs, so they did not go into the All-Star break on a good note. The Spurs, man, they've just kind of wasted this season of Wemby. I get it, it's his rookie year, but like, man, couldn't you have gotten a point guard in there so he could actually have some fun this year? Do some creative things, get in there, get some points. He could have salted away Rookie of the Year easily if he had any help out there, but that is not the direction the Spurs decided to go. The Kings come into this game fresh off a win over the Mavs to head into the All-Star break on a solid note. Sacramento has been a hard team to figure out. They actually weren't playing that well headed into the All-Star break. They dropped 4 of their last 6. Their wins were both against Denver, so I guess that's encouraging if they end up meeting Denver in the playoffs, but Denver didn't really seem like they were caring too much here at the end of the first half of the season heading into the All-Star break. Sacramento's minus 12 coming into this game. That seems like an awful lot of points to me. Sacramento's only 11-13 against the spread playing at home. I think Wemby will be at least slightly interested in this game, and the Spurs are healthy, so I guess give me the Spurs and the points as a slight lean on this one, but we're not going to be betting this game. Sacramento could come out of the All-Star break really looking to prove a point. In the marquee matchup of the night, we see the Los Angeles Lakers heading to Golden State to take on the Warriors. The Lakers went into the All-Star break playing pretty well with wins over the Pelicans, Pistons, and Jazz. LeBron was saying all the right things in the press conferences around All-Star weekend, saying he hopes to end his career with the Lakers and blah, 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 blah. We'll see what actually happens there. The Warriors come into the All-Star break playing pretty well themselves. They won 6 of their last 7. Steph was obviously heavily involved in All-Star weekend festivities, but he's pretty used to that. Golden State is not very good against the spread playing at home, but a lot of those numbers came when they were banged up during the regular season. Chris Paul won't be back till early this March, but other than him, the Warriors are finally healthy, and they've been really playing well. Right now, this spread is looking at Golden State minus 4.5. That seems like kind of a lot. I think the Lakers will be very motivated in this game. These teams have only played one other time. They played back on January 27th, and the Lakers got a 1-point win in double overtime playing at Golden State. I think 4.5 is just too many points for the Lakers. We're going to go with LeBron and company as they've had a trend of getting up for these big matchups all season long. The Warriors really don't have any good ways to match up against the size and athleticism of Anthony Davis, and if LeBron is motivated for this game, he can be a real force too. I don't think Kuminga is a smart enough defender, even if he is athletic enough to slow down LeBron, so give me the Lakers and the points playing on the road in this one. This is a pretty small lean though, guys. I don't really know what we're going to get out of either one of these teams coming off the All-Star break. The LA Clippers head to Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder. The Clippers come into this game fresh off of a win over the Warriors, a very close, hard-fought win. The Clippers have been playing pretty well recently. They've been a little bit up and down heading into the All-Star break, but with such a star-studded cast, you can kind of expect that they're veteran players. They're ready for a little bit of a break. The Thunder came into the All-Star break, winning 2 in a row, taking down the Kings and the Orlando Magic. Right now, OKC is actually sitting in second place in the West. They're only a half game ahead of the Clippers, so these are 2 of the best teams in the Western Conference this season. I expect big things from both teams in the playoffs. The Clippers are getting 2 points in this game. The last time these 2 teams faced each other, we saw the Clippers get a pretty convincing win, but that was back on January 16th. We've seen Oklahoma City be one of the best teams in the league against the spread playing at home this year, where they're 18-9. The Clippers have actually been reasonably good playing against the spread on the road, though. They're 15-12 against the spread. spread. I don't have a huge lean on this game. I think I'm actually going to go with the Thunder to get the bounce back win and cover playing at home, as I think the Clippers will have a little bit of a hangover from being off for the All-Star break. That's all of our NBA games for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment below with any questions or comments about these picks or today's slate, and check out stumpthespread.com to see all of our top plays. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. See you guys tomorrow for more NBA action.